lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Angel Santiago. We are live here from Martinsville Speedway for the Sim Racing Media Network. We are broadcasting the AARL, which is the American... Oh, goodness. Actually, I messed that one up. Sorry about that. We're just going to go ahead and say AARL.
We got the All-American Trucking Series.
Oh, goodness. You know what happens when you take a week off.
All-American Racing League, the Truckers Feed America Cup Series. That's what we've been trying to say there. Sorry about that. Angel's still a little bit in vacation mode, and I'm still trying to settle myself from jumping back around. But yeah, Angel and Liam up here in the booth for 200 laps at Martinsville, and we are in for a phenomenal show. This is actually the shortest track on the NASCAR circuit for points races up until this year. Obviously, the Coliseum track a little bit shorter, but just over, I think it's 0.526 miles. This graphic says 0.49. That's incorrect, but just over half a mile. This is one of the best tracks. They call it the paperclip because you got two long straightaways and two very tight corners. And so we're going to see the brakes being put to the test and potentially some bump and runs on corner entry.
Man, oh man, Martinsville is absolutely one of my favorite racetracks, especially when you grow up a Jeff Gordon fan. It really makes you love a track like this.
Yeah,
But
that would do it.
yeah, but without a doubt, it is such an exciting racetrack to be at, just to watch it. I can say I'd rather be up here in the booth. Not one of my... It's only a good racetrack when you're the guy putting the bumper to people, moving them, but tends to make a lot of people angry. So that much was enough to take Martinsville off the schedule in my league. But excited to get to broadcast it instead of race it.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is a blast to run. One small mistake can cost you a couple of positions throughout the corner or getting up off the corner. But like you said, it's a tough one, and it's really it really gets to be frustrating if you're not one of the guys that's out there taking the checkered flag or up at the top 5.
Well,
if you're having yourself a bad day, it doesn't seem to ever want to end.
Especially when you have 200 laps to do around a track like this. Really, in this situation, going to show us right. The ambient track temp is 72 degrees, but the ambient temp is 72 degrees. The track temp is 116. That's, oh my god, it's hot. That's a warm track temp right now.
Yeah, there's a few redneck phrases that I can think of that maybe aren't suitable for the broadcast, but it is super hot out here. It's going to be super slick for these guys. They'll be sliding around all over this. This concrete's a little bit lighter than the asphalt is, so that might help a little bit. Asphalt generally reacts more with the hotter temperature, but either way, these guys are going to be in for a tough treat. It's going to be a treat, but it's going to be tough for them.
Well, it'll be a treat for us here in the booth, Liam. Getting to see the looks to be 18, maybe 19 drivers coming out on track tonight, and as we say that, qualifying is all set, so we'll move over to our qualifying look today. And starting on pole, no surprise, is the person who has just seemed to have not stopped winning, Lilith Peters. She has won the most races so far this season in the AARL Truckers Feed America Cup Series with 3 wins so far. But Christian Delgado's going to be starting there on the outside of the front row. Peter Terrell, here is the guy who won last week, giving himself his second victory, and really just kind of, I'm sorry, not last week, it was 2 weeks ago, but Peter really injecting himself here into the playoff picture right now when you have really the championship round. You know, this league does a little bit different. It's not just the championship round being one race. They're going to actually spread that out over the last 4 races of the season.
That's a pretty cool concept, I think, and we definitely go through the points as we get going here. But continuing on with our starting grid here, Jackson Carr starting in 4th, finished 3rd last week. Strong run for him. We've got Cameron Harris in 5th, Sean Purcell, Jeremy Flanagan, David Hara, David Lorfano, Kyle Purcell, Scott Leonard, and Justin Horton in 12th place.
There we go. That's finally moving now. Servers are a little bit backed up, but we're getting there, everybody. We have Nathan Christensen here in 13th, Larry Garnes in 14th, Adam Angerstein in 15th, Johnny May in 16th, Tyrone Yo Jr. in 17th. Kyle Martin is going to round out your 9th row, and the final 10th row belongs to Travis Juggles Rodriguez. It's going to be an exciting one, man, tonight. I think with this, matter of fact, let's go ahead and bring in our pole sitter and see what she's got to think for 200 laps tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, hold on just a moment. Let's see. I just got to find the right person out. There you go. Lilith, this is Angel and Liam here in the SRM broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, congratulations on the pole position. Exactly what you got to do at the start of this round here. What's the plan, and how do you think you're going to make it through 200 laps here?
Just going to need to survive. Last time we went here, it was a monkey race, so I'm really hoping we've improved. I'm looking forward to this if it's good, and I hope you guys can put on a good show if it is.
Appreciate it very much. I think you guys are one to go, or you'll be coming one to go now, so we'll let you go. It's a short track. You'll be back around in no time, and hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of this one.
Hope to hear from you guys later.
Always a little more wrong chat. A little more difficult sometimes to get these interviews done, man. You're at a half mile like this, or the shortest track as you mentioned. There's not a lot of time to get one in.
Yeah, these guys get about 40 seconds before they get the one to green, and that pace car dives down coming into turn 3, and these guys get pretty much any time to go from there on out. So we take a look up front to Christian Delgado. Lilith Peters on the pole.
Here he is, beginning of 200 laps here in the AARL Feeders or Truckers Feed America Cup Series. We are green flag racing here now at Martinsville. Lilith Peters a good start, but Christian Delgado, what a restart on the outside. He'll take just overdrives turn 1, slams into the wall from what could be first down to at least 6, and who knows what more he could lose.
How bad is that right front going to be damaged? Potentially a little bit more contact with Delgado as he goes up the track to 0-4, also up the racetrack. A lot of cars having early trouble here in the first lap at Martinsville.
Guys, it is a very, very hot track. You are in, even though it is a short track, the aerodynamics of this car are affected regardless. And the brakes might be bigger and better, but you really have to know how to get a feel for the brakes before you can really do anything. And you saw a ton of mistakes there in that first lap. Everybody makes it through as we're now 2 laps in. We got ourselves a pretty good battle for lead between what have been our championship favorites in Peter and Lilith up front.
Absolutely, Angel. It looks like we've got a little bit of a bar up on the top of the screen, but the caution has just come out.
Let's see what all happened.
Christian Delgado crashed. Travis Rodriguez was involved in that as well. We're going to go back and take a look momentarily.
Oh, the 14 came just off the wall right there. Let's go ahead and back that up. We'll actually go ahead and look at the... let's go ahead and try to find at least the blimp cam here and see. See, the 14 is way out of the groove. Just ever so slightly taps the wall, takes the 10, the 16, and anybody else that's around there. 7 over breaks it. Very easy to do. Very slick racetrack, and that's where you have what we're going to get here. A little bit of a wreck.
Tough break early on. Christian Delgado started second, got super hot into the first corner there, and gets collected by the 14 coming up off the track, and more cars with nowhere to go. It's a tough break all around.
All right, hopefully that should fix it. I don't know what happened there. Thanks for getting that out there. Nonetheless, we're under our first caution of the day. Let's hope we don't have to count too many of these. But a track like this is Martinsville, you know, everybody knows it's something that you're prone to happening. So we'll have to work on that and see what these guys can do.
Absolutely. It's early on, so a quick stoppage to this action. These guys didn't really get a chance to really figure out what they've got under them, but it looks like after that we're going to have everybody staying out here more than likely and saving that set of tires.
Yeah, these drivers do get 5 total sets of tires, including the ones they started with, so it gives you about 40 laps a set. So yeah, if you can avoid using them as early as you can, that's definitely going to be the preferred option, because these guys are going to want tires there at the end.
Absolutely, and with this track being as hot as it is, it'll be interesting to see how much more fall off there is than these guys are maybe used to seeing. But Lilith Peters continues to hold on to the lead as we roll under caution. Second place is that number 6 machine of Peter Terrio, Jackson Carr, Cameron Harris, Jeremy Flanagan rounding out your top 5. Then we've got David Lorfano, David Hara, Sean Purcell, Justin Horton, and Nathan Christensen rounding out your top 10. Their regards, Travis Rodriguez, Tyrone Yohe Jr., Adam Angerstein, Scott Leonard, and Kyle Purcell and Christian Delgado are both off the track right now. Kyle Purcell is coming back out on. And Delgado now as well. So I believe Delgado is going to be 1 lap down as these guys get doubled up and ready to go. But Purcell is still on the lead lap, as is the 14, who we also saw get sideways in that incident.
Yeah, I mean, and those guys that did get sideways, that took away some of the grip in those tires. We'll have to see how they can make it through here. Going to restart with 8 laps completed. I'll let you take this one away, Liam.
Lilith Peters waiting for the perfect opportunity to pounce here, and the 6 jumps up just a little bit. That might be all Peters needs to get a good restart.
Wow.
Absolutely phenomenal. That pink Chevrolet gets out front by a car length getting down into the first turn.
Ah, man, she learned something from that first start. Gets a great start or restart here. Gone now to about a 0.4 of a second lead as they battle here for second, as the 57 of Jackson cars all over the back bumper of that 6. But man, you see then the 6 got loose. It's so easy to overdrive the middle of these corners. I think people forget how important it is to just roll the center here at Martinsville. You're going to hear that a lot. Can you roll that center? Doing so is going to help save you that tire that you need, but also get that real good grip off that turn.
One thing that I am absolutely not used to when it comes to Martinsville is shifting. I guarantee if we ride on board with some of these guys, we're going to see them getting down into 4th throughout the middle of the corner, getting back up to 5th down the exit, as we see a little bit of a lockup there on the right front of David Harrow when he gets down to the inside of Jeremy Flanagan. But actually, it looks like these guys might have it set up, or at least the 15 of David Harrow has it set up as to where he doesn't need to, as 27 has himself a massive slide there. Cameron Harris. Caution is out.
Caution's out.
Sean Purcell has crashed. Christian Delgado, I believe, is involved in another one, unfortunately. Jeremy Flanagan, another name I'm seeing with some contact here. So let's take a look. Flanagan up on the top side of the 67.
We'll go ahead and jump to the little bit of chopper view here. I'm going to assume the 72 probably gets a little bit out of the groove. Just gets loose and nowhere to go for the 04.
These things are sketchy on corner exit, it seems. I mean,
yeah, no matter what you do, I mean, you can be. You can tell it wasn't even pushing it all that hard, but just doesn't take much to get these cars sideways. There's a lot of horsepower still going to these rear wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 670 horsepower. It's not quite as much as we saw in the old Gen 6 cars, but these cars are built completely different, and yeah, I mean, there's something up in here that's causing these guys to slide massively when they get the power down up off the corner. And I tell you what, I'm for it. I think mistakes make for good racing, and being able to capitalize on mistakes is good for you. It looks like Lilith Peters looking down to the inside, potentially faking to the pit lane, or stays up above that white commitment line. And I'm not sure if this league has the NASCAR rule. Usually in NASCAR, you've got to keep at least I think you've got to keep all 4 tires up above that line, and that's kind of the commitment line. But here we use the box.
Yeah, I don't.
Irrelevant stat there for you guys.
Well, for those that don't know, now they know for the actual Cup race. We only got 2 more left in the season, including Martinsville. They'll be there Sunday night. That'll be an exciting one to watch. But the drivers of the AARL Cup Series getting the chance to put their own laps down at Martinsville before you see the Cup drivers doing so on Sunday with their opportunity for a championship. These drivers just as well. This track means, maybe not as much considering it's not an elimination race, but yeah, it's still is going to mean a lot for a lot of these drivers trying to earn as many points. We said there's 4 tracks left here on the schedule to go to determine the champion. We have entered the final round of this league, so that tells you exactly what you need to know from there. After that, or after here, we head to one of our favorites of Talladega next week. And then, in 2 weeks. I forget we are actually off next. No, I can't get my days right. Next week is, in fact, the start of November. I cannot believe we're at the end of October already.
But time is flying fast, my friend. The season has flown fast. We're already in the first race of our championship round. And like you mentioned,
Dega next week, and then Rockingham to follow. Quite the different change. And then we get to go to Michigan to complete the championship. And these cars at Michigan are a ton of fun. I'm really, really excited to put that broadcast on here in a couple of weeks. So after tonight, only 3 more races, 3 more weeks left in the AARL American or Truckers America Cup Series. There you go. It's an American Racing League. We're getting there. David Lorfano is probably going to give me some fun for that later on. But you know what? All fun and games. Right. Muffler Man being our main sponsor tonight as well.
He's still mentally at the racetrack. And virtually rather, we're at this racetrack, Martinsville, Virginia. We've got ourselves another restart coming. Lilith Peters trying to take him down once again. See, it's the 6 of Terrio doesn't jump out as far this time, but Peters with another strong run. Once again, leads by about a car length, getting into 2. It looks like Carr is going to slow down and let the 6 get back down into 2nd. Side by side for 4th place as the 8 of David Lorfano is trying to defend from Cameron Harris and David Hara.
You know, last week we had a couple of drivers tell us that, I mean, I know some people were worried to come into Martinsville, but we had quite a few people tell us that they were excited to come here. They really enjoyed this racetrack, and they think it's one of their best. So it really, you know, gave me some excitement going into tonight that there's a lot of confidence in some of these drivers. And drivers with confidence mean typically we're going to have some pretty good side-by-side racing, especially at a track here like Martinsville.
Absolutely, and as we've seen some guys get sideways, you saw at the top of the screen, it looked like the 3 and Nathan Christensen got sideways. We're seeing a lot of these guys making mistakes and just pushing a little bit too hard coming up on quarter exit, and that is really going to create some opportunities to pass.
It's so easy
when
to
I see
happen,
things,
though.
Yeah, when I see things like that, I see somebody like Lilith Peters now getting out to about a 6/10 of a second lead. I don't see that as safe at all, because if Peters gets a little bit loose coming up off the corner, that's a half a second right there for Peter Terrio, and then you got one right up on your back bumper.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, and here, if someone's at your back bumper, you know that there's going to be a good chance they're going to use it, their front bumper to get past you. I mean, it's sometimes what you have to do. You saw earlier in the run, in that first run, where Peter was right on the one's bumper, and you saw him kind of going in a little bit higher, trying to just diamond the corner a little bit, get a little bit of a better run off the turn. He was able to do that because he didn't have that pressure behind, but that's what makes Martinsville. Wow, as you see the 9 get sideways off of turn 4, sideways into the wall. He is looking backwards against the cars, and that's going to bring out our next caution of the evening here. 22 laps in on lap 23 of your 200, and we'll go back and watch that, but we saw exactly what happened for everybody. But how about jumping on to the onboard view here?
The exact spot where it gets out from under them. These cars don't have the slip angle that the other ones used to have, so you'll find yourself in a slide that you might have been able to save in the Gen 6 or even in the Xfinity car or anything like that, but these cars just don't have that slip angle. You can't put them out as far as you used to be able to, and that still is catching people off guard, even though we're towards the end of the season. We even see it catching NASCAR Cup drivers off guard. Even at this last week at Homestead, is Tyler Reddick and Ty Dillon both kind of spun out on their own.
I saw the same thing out of John Hunter Nemechek, the youngster coming into it, into it.
First run in the next gen car, I believe, and found that learning curve was
doing pretty good though. I mean, having had it happen from 4th, I mean, and especially the day after the disappointment that was being eliminated from the truck playoffs.
Absolutely, that was
for those of you that have at least kept up a little bit with us on our on Sim Racing Media Network when we were at Homestead. We had the opportunity to see John Hunter get out of the car or out of his truck and sit right on the pit wall right by us, and just the disappointment and dejection shows you how much those drivers how much it means to them, being able to make it to each round and shot at the playoffs and championship.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what they do it for, whether you're doing it on a big screen on TV or whether you're just doing it with your friends or maybe you're hanging out with us here at Sim Racing Media. Racing for a championship is something that, it's kind of unmatchable. It's like something I've never done, so I imagine it's got to be pretty great. Yeah,
that's quite the way to put it, honestly. I mean, it really is. So, back to Martinsville. We'll stop boring these guys with my adventures of last weekend. We got a couple guys making their way down pit lane here, maybe just topping off a little bit of fuel, seeing what they can do a little bit of strategy-wise. Tyrone Yo Jr., Sean Purcell, I believe he's getting some repairs earlier there. Adam Angerstein back out there. Looks like he's got some repairs done. I mean, he had some pretty decent damage, but it's Martinsville, so aerodynamically it's not that serious. But you got to be careful about, of course, the really making sure your wheels are in alignment.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to break a toe link here because this is probably one of the most important tracks in terms of cornering.
Yeah, considering how tight these radiuses are, which, of course, giving it that nickname, the paperclip. Should be going what looks to be 2 to green here. Do think I see the lights are off on the pace car. As you see these drivers here, the AARL Truckers Feed America Cup Series lining up side by side. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here. It will be 28 laps complete, jumping on to lap 29 once we do. We still do have all 17 drivers that started this race currently in it, so just got one car outside of the lead lap, being Christian Delgado, and he had to get some repairs done. But aside from that, Liam, take us away here for the restarts.
Well, this has become a familiar sight. Lilith Peters on the inside, the 6 of Peter Terrio on the outside. Back into the Geico restart zone. The inside lane gets a phenomenal start once again, and this time Jackson Carr is going to try to put the nose to the inside of the 6. Doesn't quite have the speed as they're getting almost 3 wide coming up out of turn number 2. The 8 of David Lorfano trying to defend from David Hara. Battle of the Davids here as the 27 slides up wide a little bit to let Travis Rodriguez through. Juggles, not juggling the ball there, getting the job done real quick.
Yeah, as you see, Battle of the Davids. David Lorfano holding on strong on the outside. He'll stick to that outside and be able to hold on without any issues whatsoever. So allows Lorfano to get right on through to 4th. Hara's back in 5th. Travis Rodriguez, is currently our biggest move of the race. Started this race.
Absolutely.
Technically 19th, but also 17th because we had 2 drivers not start the race. Nonetheless, he's all the way up to 6th already. A big jump for him already in that number 7, looking to make up some more spots as this race continues.
It's 11 spots gained. And yeah, some of it might be due to attrition early on here, but we're only 30 laps in here. And to be up 11 spots on track, 13 technically from where he was gridded, that is a huge accomplishment here at Martinsville. Might want a couple more cautions to try to get closer to that lead, but right now sitting at 6, about 3 seconds up off the leader. We're only running 70% fuel, so I think we're still at the gotta pit twice level from here. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how strategies play out. I mean, it's weird to talk strategies at Martinsville. Obviously, you never expect a green flag pit stop, but I think if these guys start stringing out like this, and as these tires wear down, those slides get a little bit more controlled, we might have some hope for it.
Well, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be green flag pit stops. It depends on when our next caution comes out. If our next caution comes out now, I still wouldn't be taking tires because you're still not quite in that window to make your tires go 40 laps apiece. And I mean, I know you can get some nice green flag runs here, but man, do you want to risk not having the tires at the end of this race?
Yeah, I guess that I am not totally sure.
Well, that's the fun part about strategy, though. We get to, oh no, they're making contact. It is Christian Delgado sideways in the off of 4, gonna get into Adam Angerstein in the process. And just as we speak about a caution possibly coming out a lap later, it does. We'll have to see what these drivers decide to do. If they decide to come down pit lane or hopefully save this set, don't know. We'll go back here for just a moment to show you exactly what happened.
Christian Delgado is starting the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Coming up off of 4, getting sideways, into the 9, getting the 9 sideways. And I believe the 9 has actually been given an EOL for that one.
Yeah, the 16, I mean, it's unfortunate. He really is trying to stay out of the way of everybody, and it just... Yeah, unfortunate there. Not sure. Maybe the 9 just had damage and needed the EOL to stay out of it. Nonetheless, though, that's going to come in. But Kyle Purcell, Tyrone Yo going to go ahead and come back in again. And, I mean, for some of these guys in the back of the pack, if these guys didn't come in and take tires, you should be coming in and taking tires. You got to do something different to set yourself aside. And that's why I said, you talked about strategy, and it's absolutely possible here at Martinsville. It doesn't have to be on that green flag. It really can be done here on cautions when you have some laps on tires here. This would be a good opportunity to maybe set yourself aside, and if you do get yourself a decent green flag run, which we were just about to get there, could really work in your favor.
I'll say about that. I mean, ideally, you want to get these pit stops done under caution. You don't want to think about green flag pit stops. Up in the booth, I want to think about it. Up on the pit box, I want to think about it, but nobody else does. Let's be real. And all these drivers want to make sure that pit stop happens under yellow. And
I just want to make sure everybody, just to show you the how good these guys are putting the show together for us tonight. of your top 7 drivers, only one of them is not part of your top 6 that are competing for a championship here, and that is the third place car, the number 57 of Jackson Carr. So everybody else, 1st through 7th, still in that championship hunt. And when you're running not 1st or 2nd in this situation, man, he's like, man, I think I'm having a good day. It's a top 5 possibly, and yet my competitors are right in front of me. How do you combat that, Liam? And what do you think these guys got to do to, put themselves in a different situation if they don't quite have the speed just yet?
Well, first off, the thing is to stay calm. You want to try to stay on the same strategy as these guys for the most part. I mean, you don't want to split too far off of anything, but you just got to stay calm, keep clicking off these laps. For the 27, it started up in 5th, is now in 7th, has lost a few spots from this initial restart, but
I think we did see him maybe get loose at one point. This is what about
he had a big moment down the front straightaway. I believe that we were riding on board with the 15 earlier, but all you can do is just kind of stay calm here, make the right adjustments on pit lane, but you can't let this first stint going bad overtake your mind and change the way you approach this race. You've got one goal, one finish line, and you just got to keep clicking off those laps, getting the positions where you can, and making those adjustments on pit lane.
Yep, exactly. And it's adjusting the way you drive the car. You saw that track temp at 116 earlier, and that will continue to change, and that will continue to change how you have to drive your race car. So adjusting to that throughout the night's going to make the difference, throughout the evening here for us, but during the day here on the track. Side by side once again, see if this outside gets a good restart. Man, was just Lilith stuck on that one restart we saw. You see the 6 jump out a little bit. It's going to cost him. Allows that 1 to jump. No, the 6 is going to stay close. Still not as good. Lilith with a fantastic restart, but Jackson Carr deep there to the inside of the 6. The 6 might have a good enough run.
Stays up top for a moment there. Peter's able to get clear. Jackson Carr once again decides to fall into 3rd place. This time Peter Terrio doesn't seem to want to play around. We jump back. We saw the 8 car get a little bit sideways, potentially from a front bumper of David Hara. And now here comes the 27 of Cameron Harris getting down to the inside of Travis Juggles Rodriguez, and we've got another crash.
Oh, no, right behind these guys. It's going to happen. Looks like Nathan Christensen might be one of the gentlemen involved here. Let's try to get it. Seeing the 3. Oh, the 04 was there as soon as he got down there. Yeah, I don't know if the 3 knew he was there. The 04 was also checking up at the same time, and that's going to cause that. Happens more often than you think. Just not all the time to get the next incident out of it.
Oh, and here comes David Hara into the 15 into the pits, followed by Sean Purcell in the 04, maybe checking on that right front. Scott Leonard, Kyle Purcell into the pits as well, but these are the first of the front runners coming in on lap 44.
Yeah, I'm quite interested here. One of the only of your top 7 and the only one of your championship battle competitors right now to hit pit lane. So definitely interesting decision here by the 15. We'll have to see can this pay off for him. He's going to take that first set of tires. You're in that window now where you can take a set and you're still on track to have, an equal amount of sets throughout the race here. So uses one of his 4 extra sets. He'll have 3 left here. I'll be interested to see what all happens and what he can do.
Absolutely. If I had to do some mental math in my head, I'd say you can go about 125 to 135 laps on a tank of fuel, maybe more, if you have 100%. These guys have 70. So I would take about 35 to 40 laps off of there, maybe say 85 to 90.
Yeah.
That seems accurate in my head. It might be off, give or take 10 laps either way, but I think we're starting to get into the point where fuel-wise, you can make it on one more stop. Tire-wise,
no thank you.
Not sure there's enough green flag racing happening at the moment to really kill these tires to the point where track position is going to be not as important. I feel like track position is the top thing to be going for right now.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, it's the name of the game, and David Hara is going to try something different here now down to the 11th position. I mean, he really only lost 4 or 5 spots, David did. He didn't lose a ton of spots, so I don't think this is the worst plan for him. He's faster than some of the guys in front of him. He was able to make his way through I think this is a pretty good decision for David. I mean, if we get a long green flag run here, which I know maybe you guys don't believe it, but we're seeing the just some potential for it here and there. We're seeing it pop up. Like, all right, we're getting close to that moment. We're gonna have a long green flag run, and I think David does not want to be the sit and duck in that situation.
I'll say two things this time. I hope I get both of them out. But David, perfect time to get that done, to try it out. Try out what those tires do, and hopefully make up some passes. But the other thing is that we've seen these guys catching rhythms, and it's been one mistake out of one driver that he gets down and collects another driver that's been bringing out most of these cautions as we get doubled up here. So as much as I think it's possible that a caution could happen any lap, I mean, these guys are finding their groove. It's just been one thing that's bringing out these cautions, and I guess we'll see as we approach 151 laps to go here. Lilith Peters restarting first once again. Big jump on the inside there, but the 6 able to stay with up on top pretty well. Stays about on the door, getting down into turn 1. Still trying to rock that outside, but not quite able to do it coming up off of 2.
Still got a really good run, though, off of turn 2. He's going to stay a little high. He got a little bit of gap behind him to third. You see Liz is going to push a little bit off the turn. She knows he had that good run. He's here to put the pressure. Can he do something here? It's early. Oh, a little bit of a bump.
Sideways on braking. Bumps the one car in the back end. And is now Peter Terrio gets down to the inside, racing for the lead.
Oh, my God. Terrio's got it. He's going to get a good run on the inside. Going to clear her. He's going to stay, though, low. Going to give her the room. Notices he has 100% clear. That was some good respectful driving right there. Didn't immediately cut across her nose. Knew that he wanted to give her a little bit of room just in case. But, wow, what a pass for the lead here 50 laps into this race.
Absolutely. The first pass for the lead we've been able to see because Lilith Peters has just been so strong. But now, for the first time, she's in traffic. Now she's got the 57 of Jackson Carr looking down on the inside.
Yep, he'll move to the inside of her. Can he get a good run here through here? You're wondering, did she use up her tires really? Or is she thinking now, Liz has done a great job of finding the right time to save her tires throughout the year here in the AARL Cup Series. So I'm wondering if she's knowing now, okay, this is the point in the race where I got to start saving my tires. We might have a long green flag run here, and she doesn't want to be a sit and duck compared to David Hara, who has moved up to the 9th position so far, so only 2 spots gained for him. We'll have to keep an eye out for him as he's looking now to do that same arcing move on the outside, trying to gain some time on the 72 in front of him. But the 6th car right now to an 0.8 of a second lead over Jackson Carr.
Speaking on the David Hara point, you say only 2 positions, but we're 5 laps removed from this restart. And when these laps click off as quick as they do, 19.63 was the fastest for Peter Terrio. His last time around, we'll give it a moment to update, was a 1970. So the tire fall off really doesn't seem to be too major at this point. 55 laps in and a decent amount of cautions, a decent amount of heat cycles on these tires. It'll be interesting to see what the call is moving forward, how David Hara is able to move forward, especially if we get some more green flag laps here. And once again, we don't seem to have any side-by-side action right now, which, well, except for that right there. These two guys have seen each other pretty close together under that last caution.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if that was maybe just a little bit of that, but no, that was actually Christian Delgado is a lap down. He was just staying to the outside there of Nathan Christensen. So at the moment, no immediate battle. Closest on track is, in fact, Jeremy Flanagan and David Hara, as Scott Leonard right behind him just ran his fastest lap of the day in the number 14 Chevrolet, running in the 11th position. For those of you that are watching, and then Larry Garnes back there in 14th running his fastest lap just now as well, as these guys continue to really get more comfortable with their car. If you are watching on YouTube, we want to thank you as always for joining us on the chat. Be sure to let us know who you're rooting for. We'll be sure to get on maybe a little bit of onboard action with them whenever we get that opportunity.
We got the Kaiju Cats are represented here in the chat. We've got Alex F. and Cecil Hawks saying, let's go Kaiju Cats. That's Jackson Carr, Jason Middleton, Jeremy Flanagan, Justin Horton, and Lilith Peters, all on that team. And these guys are, we saw Lilith leading plenty of laps early on. Jackson Carr still is up in the 3rd position, was racing pretty hard for that, or rather is at 4th now with Carr is in 2nd, Peters is in 3rd. I apologize there, but
here it is. Caution's out.
Sean Purcell has spun himself around here, running all by himself.
That car looked loose the moment he got into the corner. Oh, he just taps the curb. Yep. Ah, so unforgiving here. I mean, it gets going right around, but just that curb is so unforgiving.
It really is. When I mentioned how there's that lack of slip angle here as we take a look to see if pit stops are happening up front. As indeed, the 6 is going to come in. We'll see who follows. Jackson Carr, Lilith Peters, David Lorfano, Cameron Harris. Everybody's coming.
Except for David Hara.
Except for David Hara. That's why he did it.
I like this, though. I mean...
oh, I love it.
This gave him the track position he didn't have. I mean, he was running in the 6th or 7th position earlier. Really was only up to 8th right there, I believe. But this will put him in 1st and not with really that much older tires. And we saw it not make that big of a difference. So, I really like this move by David.
That's why we're, or at least I am up in the booth and
me
on
too.
the pit box, because I was questioning that call when I saw him come in by himself. I said, I'm not sure how much tires are going to do here. He gained a few spots, but a caution comes out not too long after, and he's able to go and get that track position that I have been praising ever so much. So overall, a good call by David Hara. The more I thought about it, the better I thought it was, but obviously David Hara out here proving my initial thoughts on it wrong and leading over Larry Garnes, Nathan Christensen.
And you see those two drivers also did not pit this last time around. They both pitted previously, Garnes on lap 38 and Christensen at lap 44. Rest of them at 61, about 17 or so laps later. So Jackson Carr actually wins the race off of pit lane. Fantastic job for him, having beat out Lilith Peters and Peter. So he'll move up in front of them. That's the important thing because of track position. Unfortunately, he will be on the outside. So I wonder if can he make that work? Being on the, having the outside compared to maybe Lilith Peters, who will have the benefit of the inside on the restart.
Be interesting to see because Peters will be restarting in traffic for pretty much the first time all race. We saw how she lost a track position on that last restart after losing the lead. So,
big loser there for Peter.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Peters is able to get up to the front, but should be coming to one to go this time.
We do look for that here. Should be completing lap 64. We'll be completing lap 65 when we go green. Should this be the... I'm sorry. Let's see here. Lights are off. I'm getting side by side. Yep, so we will be completing lap 65 when we come to green, which means we'll have just under 140 laps to go in this race. Laps are clicking away. These guys may not realize, but we're just almost a third of the way through this race now.
Laps click on by very fast, even under yellow. We're only about 45 seconds, which is quicker than a lap at, say, Daytona. So
exactly. All right, Liam, these guys got the lead here for David Hara. Take us away for it.
David Hara, Larry Garnes, Jackson Carr, and Nathan Christensen up in the front. We'll see what kind of run Hara gets. A nice run for David Hara. He's going to jump up to the top side and get himself a nice wide arc into one. Meanwhile, Garnes has to stay up top. We're 3 wide now for third place as Peters moves down to the bottom between Jackson Carr and the top side of Larry Garnes there. And now Peters looking back to the inside of Carr once again.
Oh, trying to pin Peters behind the 3. The 3 trying to come up the racetrack. The 57 stuck his nose in there. That looked like a Ross Chastain move right there. He was not going to be denied getting to his outside.
That was a classic pick. He set the pick, decided I want this spot, and now he moves down in front of the 3 to make sure that he's got all of the track he needs. As you see Peter Terrio struggling to get around that 3 on the top side. Lilith Peters looking to follow, but we'll see that 3 a little bit slower here on the restart. Just pitted with David Hara on lap 44, but those tires not working as well on the 3 as they were on the 15, at least initially.
Yeah, well, I think this is worse for the 1. She is really struggling on this outside. I think Liz is very quick on the inside, but the outside, she doesn't seem to be as strong as maybe her competitors. As Peter right there just put down his fastest lap
and David Hara has a problem getting down into turn 1.
Oh, there was Christensen on the back.
Turn number 2. Nathan Christensen gets turned around. Doesn't look like he hit anything, but that's going to bring out a caution once again. And We'll have to double check on scoring loops that might have been a benefit to Hero, but we go back and take a look. The 67 of Horton looking down to the inside. Justin just gets up out of the gas, gets into the back of the 3, and
yeah, I think the 3
expected the 3 to get on the gas when he did.
Well, that's what happens when you have a difference in tires. I mean, between one driver having fresher tires and one driver having not so fresh tires. You're okay with getting back on the throttle right there. It's what you're used to, but the guy in front of you doesn't quite have that not throttle control. I'm sorry, he doesn't quite have the tires to do the same as you. So it'll lead to exactly what we saw. Nobody's fault in particular.
Not at all. I'm not totally sure what happened down the front straightaway. Seemed like a little bit of a checkup with the 67 getting up into the 8, or the 8 getting into the 67 and then into the 1. Bit of a checkup slowing down, but looks like everything's all good now as we see the 04 of Sean Purcell getting his lap back up on the top side. That's going to put 16 drivers on the lead lap now. Yep.
Yeah, he'll be on the lead lap now. Yeah, so that'll be 16 drivers on the lead lap right now.
Jeremy Flanagan, a couple of laps down after heavy damage to that 72. I will say Christian Delgado, after having a terrible start to this race, he's sitting in 10th place right now. A phenomenal recovery after a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad start to this race, getting caught up in the first 3 crashes. Got loose once, got caught up once, and I think maybe got loose again.
Yeah, I mean, he was 2 laps down at one point, so that shows you why at Martinsville, never should really give up. You never know what can happen. Odds are, if it's a wreck, it's gonna happen here at Martinsville. There's just no room. It's like a 2-lane highway, if that, and everybody's going, 130. Something's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best way I could describe it is imagine just waiting as long as you can to slam on the brakes last moment for a cloverleaf exit on the highway. That's what it's like getting into the corners here. And these guys are doing it absolutely last second, absolutely to the limit. This is, I don't know, man. This is tough racing.
Yeah,
tough sled.
As we get down here, we've now completed 72 laps. Coming off of turn 4, we'll be completing 73 laps of the 200 expected here for tonight's race. I do believe we might be going 2 on the green. Yep, lights are off. 1 to green here. We'll see Liz Peters back on the outside. We'll see if she gets anything better of a run there on the outside. She will be behind the 15 of David Harrell, who we saw make that mistake right before we had that caution flag. So we'll have to see, can he again, with a little bit of older tires, can he get a good enough restart to not maybe back up this line behind him?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I know Lilith Peters is one that really wants to get going on these restarts. She's been good about it all night so far, but Jackson Carr, for the first time, is going to lead us down. Coming up out of turn 4 into the Geico restart zone. When does he get on it? Right now, and he gets on it pretty good. Almost looked like he spun the tires, but cranks it hard right to try to get up to the top side. Hara puts it in to the top side deep, but unable to get the exit he wants, as he's going to fall back to 4th place as Peters now looks down to the inside trying to figure out which lane is going to be the fastest way to go, but we're still side by side for the lead. Peter Terrio gets a little bit sideways, giving that to Carr, and now David Harris is going to fall back in line behind the one of Lilith Peters, putting him back to 5th place. Now he's got to defend from Cameron Harris, but can Lilith Peters try to set up a pass around the 8 of David Lorfano? Meanwhile, Peter Terrio has not left about 2 feet away from the back bumper of the 57 Jackson Carr. Phenomenal racing on the initial restart here, and up to the top for a moment looks Peter Terrio.
Yeah, he's trying to get that run off the corner, kind of setting up a little high as Lorfano maybe gotten into the wall a little bit there off of 2. He's got Lilith Peters to his inside. This battle for the lead, though, still staying very intense here as these two battle it out. But, man, Lilith's trying to get past now Lorfano for that 3rd position. She will do so here as she sets her sights now on the leaders who stay right on top of each other.
Jackson Carr is jamming on the brakes hard on entry to try to set up an exit. Didn't quite do so that time, but we see how that helps Terrio. We'll see getting into turn 1 just how hard the 57 gets on the brakes. Terrio has to react, moves up to the top, but still gets himself a nice run coming up off of turn number 2.
Yeah,
Peter
very
Terrio
good
looks
recovery, but man, here comes the 1, and she is there, and she was quick to get there. This 6, Terrio's really going to need to step it up and get past the 57 of Jackson Carr if he wants to stay in front of Lilith Peters, but right now, the man, oh, the 6 is loose off of turn 2! Oh, he's going to lose it there off turn 2. Caution's out here on lap number 80 for your second place car and one of your championship contenders, Peter Terrio.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Trying to race for the lead, was still within about a car length, just on the gas a touch too soon. Gets a little bit sideways coming up off of 2. And
jump on board with him here. He's in 3rd gear actually here. Look at this. This is interesting to see.
a lot of these guys coming in with different setups who don't have the...
I think he was just a little too low when he was getting on the gas. The wheel was turned just slightly to the left when he needed to correct it just a little bit. And that's right there all it took to go sideways. And Peter Terrio to go from battling for a first down to 14th, one of the last cars here on the lead lap.
Well, we're still not quite to halfway yet, so it's not the worst time for this to happen. There's no good time for this to happen, especially when you're as fast as you are in the 6, and track position has been a premium, but
I guess he
he's
just
still
came down
going to have a
pit
lot
lane.
of time. David Harrow.
Yeah, he's gonna stick with his strategy. You know, he was starting to fall back, of course, on older tires. So, you know, you made your bet. It's time to lay in it, and he's gonna stick with that strategy. Like you said, don't panic. He knows he's gonna go ahead and just make sure he gets to use. Because the worst thing is, you know, when you think you're trying to save tires, and then here comes the end of the race, and you've got an extra set still in the pits. You know, it's like you got the sets. David Harrow's gonna make sure he uses all of them tonight.
I don't know. We were pretty adamant on the whole let's not use our tires early on thing. But given the fact that a lot of these front runners have only pitted just one time, I mean, we've got maybe 2 people, maybe 3 that have used multiple sets of tires. We've obviously got a lot of people who have pitted massively or many times for damage, talking about Tyron Yo and Kyle Purcell. Those guys have made a lot of, or Christian Delgado rather. Well, Kyle Purcell as well. Those guys have made a lot of pit stops for damage, but I mean, looking through on my pit sheet, top 5 have only used 1 set of tires. We're approaching halfway. My notes say you get 5 sets. I'm not sure if that's 5 in the pits in addition to what you got, or if that's 4 in the pits in addition to what you got.
4 in the pits additional to what you get, so that will be 5 total tire sets, getting that 40 laps apiece. Peter being the... looks like he will restart tail end of the pack. I do believe maybe he got an EOL, of course, for bringing out the caution. So he'll restart behind Jeremy Flanagan, who after almost 10 minutes on pit lane for a lot of repairs is able to get back out there looking to make up some positions, because a lot can be made up here over the final 116 laps. Should be about 115 by the time we go green, as I believe we should be 1 to green right here. And yes, we are.
Absolutely. Talk about Jeremy Flanagan hoping for a little bit of attrition. And yeah, I know it seems like it's been a bit of a caution fest. These have been a lot of one car, kind of one incident deals. And, you know, you never want to hope for it, but I think we got a lot of cars on the racetrack. There's probably potential for something big for that 72 to probably make up some spots. But
yeah, without a doubt,
other than
19
that,
laps
that's about,
is not that much.
About all he can hope for is that something big happens. You know. But Jackson Carr are going to lead him down. Lilith Peters on the top side. David Lorfano and Cameron Harris. Christian Delgado has made his way up into the top 5. Actually, on the top side, he was 6th, but green flag back in the air in the second half of the field. Has a bit of a checkup.
Yeah, the 57, Jackson Carr, he might be the best restarter we've got here in the league. As the Lilith Peters tags the wall just ever so slightly off of 2. It'll be just fine as here comes Cameron Harris. Peeking to the outside now. Christian Delgado battling hard to fourth. Wow.
Delgado is working his way up into 4th position after getting into the wall on the first lap, getting turned backwards twice, is now racing side by side with that Coors Light Camaro of Cameron Harris. Absolutely phenomenal recovery out of that 16. And, well, I tell you what, no matter what happens, he's got to feel good about the effort put in here as he's still side by side with that 27.
Let's not forget, he did qualify 2nd today. We know he knows how to put down a quick lap. So trying to put that to his advantage now. He's got a fixed-up race car trying to make his way back through the field now. When he was down there in 17th or 16th or 17th, he's definitely made his way back up to the fifth spot now as he stays battling for fourth with one of your championship contenders in Cameron Harris. Right now, almost looking like the battle for second. Jackson Carr's pulled off to what is almost now an 0.8 of a second lead over David Lorfano, who's holding strong in second, but Lilith is right behind him, ready to pounce the moment he makes a mistake.
Absolutely. We've got another side-by-side battle over there for 6 as Juggles racing Josh Purcell side-by-side here. Or I believe... Juggles into the wall! The 7 hits the wall coming up off of turn number 2. Seems to be able to turn okay, getting down through turns 3 and 4, but a sketchy moment there, and that's going to cost Travis 2 or 3 spots.
So right there behind Peter, we saw the 67, I think it was. So one of these guys was very loose there. Yet the 67 off of that turn did a great job of hanging on to it. Peter's got a long way to go, but man, he's already up to the 8th position. Remember, he restarted 17th in line, last car on the field. Of course, an end-of-line penalty for him. So making his way up now. He's under Travis Juggles Rodriguez for 7th. Not only that, but he didn't make a pit stop. Peter Terrio is still only showing 1 pit stop complete. Oh my goodness, he is just... This is a man who is confident in his race car, confident in his abilities, and is probably just overall mad at that one mistake, putting him back in the pack. Obviously now sitting up in 6th position, so phenomenal recovery here at the restart. Yeah. Jackson Carr having a phenomenal restart as well. Obviously Lilith Peters able to get around David Lorfano while we were looking at the action in the back, and now Peters trying to take that lead back after leading almost the first 50 laps uninterrupted in this race. Comes Cameron Harris. He's hot on Christian Delgado's tail. These two just love battling it out for position right now. Still battling for 4th. But don't look now for these two because Terrio is right behind. He is hunting them down. Last time around, he was a 10th quicker than Christian Delgado. Absolutely, and I want to bring up Christian Delgado once again, just because last time we were looking at this battle, it looked like Cameron Harris on the top side was going to be able to complete that pass on the outside, but unable to get the job done, and now Harris has the 6 of Peter Terrio to worry about, and that slide is not going to do Harris any favors, as that 6, that blue and black number 6, gets bigger and bigger in his mirror. Yeah, he is picking them up and laying them down right now. Peter Terrio is putting down the fastest laps of anybody on the racetrack. That time was almost 0.2 quicker than some of your leaders. This last time around here in a little bit of traffic was a bit slower than your leader, Jackson Carr. Of course, he's got the fresh air, so does Lilith Peters. Right behind him, though, she's cut that lead down to about 6.5, 7 of a second. So she's looking to capitalize while our biggest competitor, Terrio, right back there in the 5th position, is still trying to make up some positions. Yeah, we've got a lot of stories in this race. We've got Travis Rodriguez sitting 7th place. He's still our biggest mover of the race, up 10 spots from where he started. David Lorfano is the next closest with 6 positions gained from the start of the race. Meanwhile, we talk about Jeremy Flanagan. He sits 19 laps down, 19 laps down right now. Jeremy Flanagan is our biggest, or the Tough Break Award, we'll call it, for this race. Has lost 10 spots after being involved in multiple incidents, having to come in for repairs, and is looking to finish last unless something else happens throughout the course of this race, which there is plenty of time. We are approaching halfway, just about to complete halfway this time as Jackson Carr comes up off of turn 4 to complete lap number 100. This is it, boys. We're halfway through this race. Halfway through this race, as you said, and you see the 27 get into the wall ever so slightly over there. It's now 100 laps complete, of course. Jackson Carr still your leader, but boy, oh boy, this lead's been cut down an extra 0.2, almost now an extra 0.3, as Lilith Peters is about to be all over the back bumper of Jackson Carr there for first. Tell you what, we say this all the time: catching somebody is one thing, passing somebody is another. 0.3 is the gap right now, extending just a little bit off of turn number 2, and we'll see how it changes back through turns 3 and 4. But Lilith just rolls through the middle of the corner so well, and I think it's what's just making up so much of her time. You see, very smooth, but all of that time, that 57 Jackson Carr looks really good through 1 and 2 as well there, staying about even there with Peters. As you see them still staying right on top of each other. Peter looking to try to make up some time here. He is, we're going to say, 3.5 seconds back almost on lap 104. We'll check out his status a little bit later, see what type of time he's made up, if he's been able to make up any. I mean, honestly, if you're Peter at this point, you're up to 4th. How much harder are you going to really try to push it? You have Lafano in front of you, but it's a 3-second, almost 4-second gap to the leader. You're on the same set of tires, so instead of just screwing yourself in the long run here, they'd say use up your stuff to get here at 4th, maintain your position while you can, and just wait for the next caution and get some good track position again.
Well, I know that in this race we've had a lot of yellows, but the next caution is never guaranteed. And honestly, if Peter Terrio is just out here doing his thing and cruising, he is gaining on the leaders. He's now within 3.2 seconds of Jackson Carr in the race lead, so 0.3 gained just in the time we've been talking about him. I tell you what, man, if he's cruising, don't stop what you're doing. If he's pushing, absolutely, I'll agree with what you're saying, but it really seems like he is just on a different level right now.
Oh, yeah, and that's no surprise considering how quick he has been. But right now, the leaders still stay being Jackson Carr and Lilith Peters. You can see the rear brakes on this 57 car just lighting it up here through the corner. It almost looks like a ton of rear brake, man. Something you typically see on the front of these race cars at Martinsville. We're seeing it in the rear of the race car here.
Well, you see how well that car jets down into the corner turning in, right? I think that has a lot to do with the brakes, and I'll just bring up how excellent of car control that has to be on the 57 to be able to hold it down and be able to keep it straight under braking with that much rear brake in it. My question is, how much is that going to hurt the rear tires of Jackson Carr as these guys run on? As you see a little bit of, that same color gradient coming up into Lilith Peters' rear tires as she hits the brakes.
God,
yeah, a lot of it right there.
Wow, that is a beautiful sight to see. It is hard. You're right. It is hard to have this much rear brake in the back of the car at Martinsville. I mean, I love having max rear brake bias, and you see they're not even running that right up against the bottom. They're giving themselves a little bit of room on that outside, just trying to roll the corner as much as you can. Oh, it looks like she's a little bit loose through there. Oh no, Jackson Carr. Hold on, I'm trying to switch our view here, see exactly what just happened there. I think
Jackson Carr got sideways coming up off of turn number 2.
We're going to go back to this. He had a little help. I mean, I don't know if he was trying to come down, but let's try to see. Yeah, he came down. I don't think he expected the one to be where she was at the moment. But they're coming up on some lap traffic here, and oh boy, lap traffic is fun. As you see, 57 catches that one at the wrong moment, but man, Lilith Peters is stuck behind two cars side by side here, the 20 and the 04.
Now she's got to try to figure out the best way around these guys without flipping up enough to let the 57 get down to her inside. That 57 probably isn't going to be super happy with what took place at the corner just a couple laps ago.
I will say, you know who's enjoying this right now?
I'm going to guess Peter Terrio.
Peter Terrio right now has cut this lead by more than half. Was at 3.2 seconds the last time we spoke to it. He's down to 1.4, 1.5, and he is picking them up and laying them down as he's getting past these lap cars who, of course, they will be easier to pass once they've been passed by the leader because there's nothing to fight for in the sense of staying in the lead lap at that point.
No, except for the 20 and the 04 racing each other for position. And potentially for that lead lap spot.
Looks like it will stay with the 04 for now. We'll see if they catch any of the other lap cars. Nathan Christensen is here in the middle of 1 and 2. Coming off 2, and you see right there Lilith Peters on his tail. About a straightaway, almost exactly right behind the next car to put one lap down. That's the 12th place car of Christensen. Terrio actually lost 0.4 of a second now here. Back down to 1.8, so I think maybe just as he gets in the wall a little bit there, these tires may have finally showed their rear end here on him. Not quite liking how much he may have pushed him at the start of this run.
To see how that plays out for him, he still sits about 2 seconds off of the lead, which is a phenomenal gain with where you consider where he restarted, having the EOL for bringing out the yellow. Essentially restarting 17th on the racetrack, able to get all the way up to second and pass some of these guys for a second time as he passed those lap cars.
the 20 and the 04 have once again found each other to be side by side as some of these guys. I love this, man. No matter where you are on the track, you're going to have a battle, and these guys have every right to fight for what they have to fight for side by side back there, and I just love that we get to see that. And see these other drivers really just try to find their way, you know. The lap cars are being respectful. They're sticking to their lines, you know, but I love being able to see, especially at such a short track, very little room to see where the lead lap cars can really make their way through some of this lap traffic.
Absolutely, and some of these lead lap cars are going to get frustrated with some of these lappers as well as
frustrated. What is that?
It's a very, very light turn for what these guys are feeling right now when they catch up to a lapped car that impedes their progress. It is definitely tough to. They're definitely tough to manage when you catch up to these lap cars that you know you're much quicker than, and you know they're costing you time against these people you're trying to race. But if you're that 3 car, you're definitely going to do everything you can to hold that lead lap position, knowing how likely a caution is.
As we set it all over the back bumper to 16. Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened right there. I was ready to give ourselves a quick little turn it up session, but I might want to see what this might have to hold. Oh my goodness. You know what? Looks like they're going to calm it down for a moment. Everybody, want to go ahead and give yourself a quick little turn it up session. Enjoy the beautiful sounds of these race cars. And as always, if you've got your headset on, be sure to turn it down because it will be loud. All right, we're going to come back here from our Turn It Up session. We're having some great battles here on the racetrack, as you got to see in those views. I love being able to see these cars right on top of each other and just really getting the best experience as to how hard they truly are racing each other.
Got down to the inside of the 7 there of Juggles Rodriguez, and Rodriguez must have had a problem getting down into the corner there because he went way wide and gave Horton quite a bit of track space there out in front of him now. He's got Kyle Purcell in the 10 behind him, but Christian Delgado will bring him up. He's sitting in 6th place. Lost a couple spots since we last talked about him, but still has a phenomenal recovery from where he started this race. Well, not from where he started, but from after his start. Lilith Peters continues to lead by about 1.3 seconds over Jackson Carr. Peter Terrio has fallen to about 4 seconds back, and I believe everybody's got one pit stop coming. Would not count on a green flag pit stop at all, but this is the longest green flag run of the day. These guys have been able to figure out how their corner exits are working, especially when they're side by side. And well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't. Who's going to be the first to bite?
I'll be interested to see. In that meantime, completing lap 137, leaving us with only 63 laps to go in this race. We're going to go ahead and give you a rundown of our field, starting with our leader here. Lilith Peters from Tampa, Florida, currently with the lead. 3 wins on the season, 6 overall, looking to add to those numbers after disappointing 2 weeks ago. Definitely looking to continue to improve on her already fantastic season, a league-leading wins of the season, of course. Jackson Carr being in 2nd place from, I have said this wrong way too many times. Des Moines, yes.
It's simpler than it looks.
I know, and is why I always screw it up, because I like to make things more complicated than needed. Jackson Carr, you're the only car currently running in the top 5, not in the playoff hunt. Of course, with 2 wins on the season. We have Peter currently running in the 3rd position, about 4.3 seconds back. Definitely uses tires up, as you see him very loose there off of turn 2 to get where he needed to be. Nonetheless, a good recovery after spinning out from that 2nd position earlier to be back up here in 3rd without having needed an extra set of tires. David Lorfano in 4th right now, and then we have Cameron Harris running out your top 5. Christian Delgado in that number 16, as we mentioned before. Great recovery for him from Abilene, Texas. He is currently running in the 6th position in his Ford Mustang.
That's Kansas, not Texas.
Oh my! I saw. My goodness, I'm thinking. I saw San Antonio, Texas, and I didn't say Texas once. So what happens is I had to just. Whew, man, I really do need to get back into this.
That's all right, Angel. I'm just being a weenie. I'm calling you out.
Somebody has to, Liam. Somebody has to. If it's not you, it'll be the boss man at one point. So.
Justin Horton out of Eugene, Oregon. He's got his Twitch down there on the bottom, but I'm not going to say that.
No.
I didn't read it before I said that, but that's all right. Out of Lisle, Illinois, we've got Kyle Purcell, the 2022 Spring League ORR Truck Series champion. He's got himself one career AARL Cup Series win. Hoping to find some luck to get another one. Then we've got Juggles Rodriguez. Travis out here, also out of San Antonio, Texas. Followed by David Hara out of Charlotte, North Carolina. One of the guys who helps put this show on, and rounding out our top 10 here.
Adam Angerstein going to be running in the 11th position from Akron,
Ohio. I knew that one. I don't know this one.
I don't know this one either for where Hamilton might be for Nathan Christensen. Larry Garnes from Charleston, West Virginia. Scott Leonard
Leonardo da Vinci.
From Lanesburg, and Mississippi? No,
that's Michigan.
Michigan. Goodness, it's been too many years since I've been out of high school. As you see, get a little close there with the 57, your 2nd place car. Sean Purcell from Rockford, Illinois, in his number 04 Ford Mustang. Tyrone Yo is going to be from York, Pennsylvania, in his Ford Mustang. Good-looking number 2 car right there. And then Jeremy Flanagan. So all 17 cars still on the track right now. Also here from Pennsylvania. He's running also in the ORR Lawn Care Truck Series put on by this team. So overall now 148 laps about to be 148 laps in the books currently on that lap. We'll have just about 50 laps to go here in the next few minutes. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and take a brief break for, go ahead and pay some bills here at SRM. We'll be right back here in just under a minute, everybody. All right, we are back. Green flag racing here. Now, of course, lap 151 was just finished, completed by Lilith Peters. Now on lap 152, 49 laps to go left in this one. Liam, what can we expect as we'll go jump to our closest battle on track between Christian Delgado and Justin Horton?
Oh, I don't know what to expect here. We've got a side-by-side battle, and any time one of these goes on, I feel the pressure. I feel like we're about to get a caution. We've had a lot of cautions, a lot of guys getting loose up off the corners, and
see them loose right there. But man, the respect these two drivers are showing each other is just great to see, as they are right on top of each other, hard-nosed racing, but the respect is still shown. That's what I do really like about the AARL league here, is that, as you mentioned, David Hara and David Lofano running a very tight ship. These guys have a lot of respect for each other. You're going to have the occasional anger, but that's not that's going to happen anywhere you have competition involved. So I gotta say, we get to see some great hard-nosed racing with some very respectful racing as well.
One thing I'd like to bring up is that we are sitting on lap 155 of 200. The last pit stop for Lilith Peters in the lead was lap 61, so I've got to believe she's got to be getting close on fuel.
And not only close on fuel, but these drivers have to be begging for a set of tires right now. Is not only are they out there for the longest they have been, it is the most amount of green flag laps they've put down on a set of tires. As right now, Travis Juggles Rodriguez and David Hara are hard-nosed right now for 9th. This is a battle for points when it comes to the championship, as David Hara is going to let him go by. He just sees that the 7 is just that much faster at the moment. Nathan Christensen, we start talking about pit stops. He'll be the first one to come down and hit pit lane. He is not on the lead lap, but we'll have to see if maybe some of these other drivers see that and start considering that as an option for themselves.
Absolutely, it's really a no-win call there for Nathan Christensen, unless everybody stays out for a while and this race goes green. But it'll be interesting to see if that pulls anybody in, just knowing that the window is open for anybody. Maybe it's not the drivers are racing for position, but as we talk about it, Peter Terrio, David Lofano are into the pits. Green flag pit stops happening now. Does the undercut play into effect here at Martinsville? Here comes Peters.
Did not want to wait
the car
one lap.
follows.
Yeah, you cannot wait time here. You might have somebody attempt something. No, Cameron Harris is coming right in. Nathan Christensen is coming back on the pit lane. Not sure what may have happened there.
If you are Peter Terrio, this is the absolute best spot you can be in right now, because you are one lap on the undercut, but you are near perfect on your tires compared to Lilith Peters. Whereas before you had a spin on them.
Yep.
You had racing through the entire field. If you're going to go 1v1 against that number 1 car, this is the call to make. You got to try that undercut, and now you kind of have an absolutely perfect outlap while Lilith Peters gets that service done in pit road.
Yep, so we'll have to see where does Peter come out here. Lilith Peters is coming out onto the racetrack.
Oh, Peters is sideways.
Oh, we just saw it, but then switched away as it happened, trying to get on the throttle too quickly in these cold tires. That's something that you could possibly expect with a lot of guys coming out here on cold tires. gonna be slipping and sliding a little bit, kind of forgetting to adjust their driving style, which is so easy. And I only say that because I am victim of doing just that, of forgetting to adjust my driving style, adjust that brake bias to help keep the car where you need it. But right now, Justin Horton is the only driver not to have come down pit lane. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin Horton, Kyle Purcell, and David Harris. Oh, caution's out. Caution is out, and exactly what they needed, and it was Peter. Oh my goodness, no.
No! Peter Terrio goes around to bring out the caution. Let's take a look. See,
he's loose.
Oh, hits the curb.
He was loose already going down into that turn, and I was just talking about how easy it is to happen, and look at how that works out. That's going to trap everybody but the top 6 1 lap down. So Lilith Peters and David Hare, look how this is going to work out for David. He'll be one of the only 2 of the championship drivers to be on the lead lap right now. Is Justin Horton. This works out best for him. He'll come down pit lane. Kyle Purcell, you can only imagine we'll see him. Doesn't quite come in just yet. David Hare is going to make his way. Adam Angerstein, we saw him involved in multiple incidents today, not of his doing part of the time. He stayed out on that one. He'll remain in the top 5, quite possibly, definitely on the lead lap here in the top 10. So Lilith Peters will not pit, of course, having just finished pitting. So she will resume the lead. If I assume Kyle Purcell may or may not pit, can't imagine he can stay out too much longer now. 104 laps removed from his last pit stop. Well, yep, here comes Kyle Purcell. He'll lead himself a lap. Lilith Peters will take the lead once again. Jackson Carr going to come out here in second. Justin Horton, big work for him. He's going to move all the way up to the 3rd position out of this. And Cameron Harris is going to work out for him as well. I'm sorry, I believe he's the other championship driver this worked out for. David Harris is going to come off of the pit lane here. Well, Peter in his box right now. Car looks okay. I mean, didn't really take a ton of damage, so let's see him make a strong move to the front. He's got to be pretty happy that he didn't use that extra set earlier, and he's still got it. I mean, these guys, a lot of these people have only taken 2 sets of tires. They had 4 extra, so should have at least 2 here over the last 40, possibly even 30 laps or so.
Looks like we're about 33 to go right now. We'll see when these wave rounds get around the pace car,
which I think is perfectly okay for Peter to come in. He's got maybe some damage he's trying to get repaired. Don't know if it's significant enough where he's actually going to lose a lap under caution here.
Well, he was already 1 down after the pit stop and the spin, so he was unable to get back on the lead lap after most of that cycle through.
That is definitely going to hurt his opportunity here for a championship. Definitely not the way you want to start off the championship round, by being a few laps down, a couple less with what's going to be about 30 laps or so when we go green here at Martinsville. Definitely not the right time to be 2 laps down.
Right now sitting at 13th position, definitely not where he wanted to finish this race after running so strong all day. Looks like we are getting ready to double up here as those lap cars get around the pace car. You're going to have Lilith Peters and Jackson Carr in your front row. Justin Horton and David Harrow in row number 2. Row number 3 will be Kyle Purcell and Adam Angerstein. Then we've got Cameron Harris, David Lorfano, Christian Delgado, and Travis Rodriguez rounding out your top 10, rounding out the lead lap cars. The restart was waved off this time. So
all right. We do have 10 cars currently left on the lead lap. We're going to be a couple of new faces, as you mentioned there in this top 10. Justin Horton was running in the top 10, but kind of in the back end of it by staying out, leading those laps before the caution came out, earned himself up to the 3rd spot with the freshest tires, only by about 4 or 5 laps, but you never know how that can help him in this situation. David Hare definitely really worked out for him. Back on the same strategy with the leaders, and he's back up there here in the top 4 as some of his championship competitors having some issues with the next best one being Cameron Harris in the 7th or 8th position, I believe, back there. Nonetheless, green flag ready to come back out. Lilith Peters is going to take him to green. Maybe not. Nope.
Oh, we're waved off once again.
One more
We gotta
time.
wait on that pace car.
All right. I thought I jumped the gun there, but I was like, wait a minute. I thought I saw the pace car go down pit lane. So,
No, you are absolutely correct. Race control saw something that they didn't like in the lineup, so they decided we're going to extend this, make you guys line it up correctly this time. Make sure everybody who's got a penalty for pitting with damage or pitting too soon is in their correct spot on that inside lane.
it's fine.
So that's why you see a short amount of cars up on the top side. But yeah, Angel, go right ahead. Take it away once again.
No, not a problem. Here it is. Little Peter's going to be on the inside looking to restart. Jackson Carr's right on his outside, but wow. I mean, she really waited. She played that game hard on the 57. I need to take some lessons on restarting from Little Peters because, wow, I thought for sure Jackson had an edge there, and she just completely threw that out the window.
Now these two on equal tires, it'll be interesting to see if anything changes. One thing that I think is interesting is that your top three has made a total of, well, they've made 2 pit stops each. 4th place, Kyle Purcell, getting involved in crashes early on, taking the long way around, getting that damage fixed the long way, has made 12 pit stops throughout the course of this race and sits in 4th place right now. So excellent job to that crew on pit lane, excellent job to the driver of that 10 machine, recovering from some damage early on and having to really utilize the pit crew there. Huge recovery there.
Speaking of Kyle Purcell and really stepping it up, he is just running his fastest lap of the race that last time around in 1982. We'll see this time what it looks like in 1980. So still picking up a couple tenths and hundreds here wherever he can. And for those of you wondering if you didn't watch 2 weeks ago, we did ask, and that is indeed Kyle's dog in the picture with a party hat for the birthday. So, as he gets where it goes. Oh no, can he locks it up? What a save for Kyle Purcell. Oh, caution's out anyways, though.
Magazine is the crash.
Oh, my goodness. But Kyle Purcell, save of the evening right there. And we'll have to go over and see what'll happen for Adam Anderson. He might clip the apron. Nope. Just going to be... Oh, man. Just barely loose off that turn. Going to collect the inside wall right there. It looks like...
Scott Leonard might have had a problem as well somewhere.
Let's see right here. Let's see. Following in on Scott Leonard in number 14. Oh, everybody just kind of checked up. Oh, heavy damage. Everybody checked up there to avoid Adam Angerstein, who was locking the brakes up. And the racetrack being so small, you don't know where everybody's going. And easy situation happened right there. Should give Larry Garnes, I believe, the lucky dog. We'll see here in just a moment. The 16 giving the 6 a little push. I don't know if they're teammates or something, but yep, that will give the 20 of Larry Garnes the lucky dog, and that'll put Sean Purcell as the next car 1 lap down. This is what Peter would like to see, though, for some of these cautions to kind of roll through, and these guys who are 1 lap down to stay out of it that way, or regardless, whatever happens, just to be able to get, for him to stay out of it and try to get his laps back here. As Jackson's a little bit in the grass there, but I like this for Peter. His chances are not over. There's still 24 laps to go in this race. You never know what could happen over the final 24 laps.
Absolutely. I mean, we even got to see some green flag pit stops starting to take shape here, but this Martinsville race has truly brought us everything. We talk about early race drama. We talk about a long green flag run, green flag pit stops happening, and now here we come with a late race caution that could be caution breeds caution. We don't know. I mean, we could run it to the finish from here. I mean, these guys have been on point for the most part, but those one little mistakes have been really detrimental, and that's kind of what's brought out most of these cautions. I mean, we watched the 9 spin out on his own there. We watched the 6 spin out on his own twice. The 16 getting up top, racing against some guys up in the marbles, got sideways, and, you know, I mean, you got to be perfect if you're going to win this race, and nobody's been perfect except for that one. And even the one has had a couple of things to deal with.
No, I mean, yeah, and it's and you had mentioned it earlier. You know, it's you can have these mistakes early on and hope to recover from them, but Mistake at this point is probably going to take you out of it. But that's just what makes it that much more mentally challenging here, as we're going to be approaching 21 laps to go. So, boy, oh boy, we're really excited to see what these drivers got to do.
Absolutely. We'll see if we get that one to green this time. Looks like we do. These guys getting ready to double it up once again. We'll have 20 laps to go on the restart here at Martinsville in the Truckers Feed America Cup Series for the All-American Racing League. These guys are ready to get this done, but at the same time, you got to be ready for anything that can come your way. Lilith Peters, Jackson Carr, Justin Horton, David Hara, Kyle Purcell, David Lorfano, Christian Delgado, Travis Rodriguez, Cameron Harris, and Larry Garns. Round out your top 10, getting ready for the restart here, coming out of turn number 4. Peters waiting for that Geico restart zone. 57 of Carr all up on top, but Peters gets the gas down. Huge restart there over
no!
Peters has crashed on the corner entry.
Massive
big crash getting into turn number 1.
Did that happen on the downshift?
I don't know if it was a downshift or hitting
the
brakes,
no, and she's stuck.
Lilith Peters has high-centered herself.
She had to tow.
Take the tow.
Oh my goodness, what has just happened here?
This race has just flipped itself upside down. Lilith Peters, let's take another look at that. I'm not sure what caused that, but Lilith Peters getting down into the corner just turns it hard left and hits the inside wall.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what happened. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Angel, good call there with what you saw. The downshift.
I unfortunately can only say from experience.
Yeah, I've been there. Turn 9 at Watkins Glen has gotten me with that plenty of times, but getting that downshift just unfortunately turned the one around, and it caused a major melee in turns 1 and 2.
I want to go back into the accident. We got a little bit here.
We got a bit to deep dive into. I mean, if we slow it down, we start off with the
right there's the downshift.
Yeah, the misshift, downshift of the one car. Huge contact.
Right up the track.
57 has nowhere to go but into the right rear, sending her straight up into the wall. And now Carr is going to have some damage and potentially come back down. But the one also bounces hard up off the wall, sends the 57 down in.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. Oh, and Lorfano just nowhere to go as well. Oh my god. He
got hooked in that right side and it just launched him.
Delgado nowhere to go. Purcell's gonna kind of find his way through there. You'll see. I
think Purcell might have gotten a piece there on.
I think I would like to see. Oh, who's on board? Should we see from up here? I gotta whoever made it through.
Give me the 27.
The 27.
I don't know if you made it through, but 27. Give me that on board. This is
I'll show you in real time how quick this can happen.
Happens so fast. You've got 10 cars in front of you, and then all of a sudden there's 5.
Let's jump on board the 10 of Kyle Purcell. He's going to make this through. We're going to take this slow-mo. You see the one shoot up the racetrack. It's exactly what you kind of want to see, but then you see everybody shoot down. You look at the car to your right. He's there, and then he's gone. Oh my goodness. And of course just let's see here. What can I get another view? We've got goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, if not more, involved in this. Including 1, 2, 3 of your championship contenders right there in Lilith Peters, David Lorfano, and Peter. So, wow. David Harrah's going to resume the lead. We're going to have pace cars down.
Let's go here at the restart.
Liam, take us away from 14 to go. We'll see what we got here waiting for us.
Well, David Harrah finds himself in the race lead. He's got Justin Horton to his outside. Definitely an unexpected front row. But green flag is out. David Harrah hard on the gas, and it looked like they were trying to get 3 wide as Juggles tried to get up to the top side of that 67. Now the 67 gets down to the bottom, takes the race lead. Justin Horton clear for the race lead. All of a sudden, we've got Kyle Purcell into the back of David Harrah. Hera gets sideways. Does he keep it straight? No, he's going to clip the sideways. He's going to clip the 16.
Wow.
I believe that caution was thrown. I mean, that was the perfect call to throw that.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
have to throw that.
iRacing was going to throw that.
And that would have been
with how that 15 was coming down the racetrack, he did clip the 16, got him sideways, but he was only going to get somebody else. It's a tough break for David Hera after restarting in the race lead, but absolutely great call there by race control to throw the caution, because iRacing tends to not throw a caution unless somebody's past 90 degrees on the racing surface. And
without a doubt, that absolutely would have been a massive wreck there. And we're going to just go back here a little bit as we look at the 15. You see, he's going to come down. The 10 wasn't, I don't think, expecting that. And it was just a small tap, but enough to upset the 15. He almost had it saved. Tags the 16. As you mentioned, everybody does a great job avoiding that, though. That could have been another massive wreck.
Oh, for sure. And perfect call once again by race control to throw that yellow out, get that graphic on the screens of these guys where they're coming up on this, so that they know they don't have to gas it up and keep going, because we've seen that come into play. But yeah, let's take a look at this initial restart here. David Hera seems to get a phenomenal restart, but has trouble coming through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, not sure what happens, but I mean, Horton just just drives it deep. I don't know if maybe Hera overdrove it, had to overcorrect, but 67 had probably the best turn of his life right there and just absolutely drove to the lead. But this is working out right now for the 7 car, Travis Rodriguez. Again, he started back in the 17th position, all the way up 15 spots now to 2nd, and the highest of your championship leaders. Cameron Harrison currently in 4th, having himself a decent night as well. Those are your only 2 guys, I think, that are having a decent day of your playoff drivers. Everybody else just trying to hang on. You saw David Hera with his issues, David Lorfano being involved, still running here on the lead lap, back in 10th, the final car on the lead lap. I don't know who gets the lucky dog, if anybody is here. I think everybody was. Looks like Peter does not get the lucky dog here. He will still be 2 laps down, I believe. So
yeah, not totally sure what the David Hera was giving an EOL, so bringing out that yellow, but not sure if it's with 10 to go. There's no free passes or what, but yeah, obviously it doesn't look like the 6 is going to get that lap back right now as we get the lights off on the pace car, getting ready for 1 to go. 9 laps to go right now. Should be 8 to go at the restart.
Yep, we're going to have 8 laps to go. Won't be very long. You know, that could be done in less than 4 minutes. So I'm trying to think here, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, we have 3 green-white checkers. So we'll see if we need all 3 of them or we don't need any at all. Green flag racing to get ready to get started. 8 laps to go. It'll be Justin Horton with the power move to take the lead before that last caution. Green flag racing once again here for the All-American Racing League Truckers Feed America Cup Series. Justin Horton with a big jump to first. It's a battle for second now with Kyle Purcell and Travis Rodriguez. 1 car, I think that's Larry Garnes in the wall up there. Nice job for him right now, running in the top 10 in 8th as a battle for second. Oh no, the 7 overcorrects it hard. He's going to take out the other playoff contender, the 27 there. Those are the only 2 involved in the wreck. Okay, so all of your championship drivers have now had issues today. And we're going to jump on board here to see the 7. It just shot to the right. Oh, just ever so slightly too much throttle. Tried to overcorrect, or try to correct it, and it just nowhere to go. And you just see sitting on the wall there, and just the disappointment in that one. It gets a little bit of more of a tap. Well, all right.
Definitely going to change the intensity level once again. It seems like every time that yellow flag comes out, the whole race complexity changes. But Justin Horton sitting in that 67 holds on to the race lead right now. Kyle Purcell has found himself in second place after making 12 pit stops, most of those to repair damage, and now finding himself in a world of recovery. Third place, Christian Delgado, another guy who we saw have trouble at the early part of this race and has recovered quite well. Here comes Jack Sakar up on the top side to get a lap back.
And he is 2 laps down, so he'll become the first car 1 lap down. Looks like Terrio, for some reason, would not be the lucky dog. Neither were the 14. Maybe involved a little bit in that incident somehow to not give him the lucky dog. So still leaves 9 cars on the lead lap right now, with Travis Rodriguez no longer being on the lead lap after being involved in that incident. I do believe he's only 1, maybe 2 down. We'll have to see when our score comes back across here. So this is still working out pretty good for some of these drivers, and I know Cameron Harris being involved in that, but with the other drivers in the playoffs, 3 of the other 6 drivers, 3 of the other 5 drivers currently not on the lead lap. If I'm Cameron Harris in 9th, I'm just maybe, how hard do you want to push this? You just used your fast repair, if I'm not mistaken. I might just
Harris is coming down the pits right now, so we'll see what kind of repairs are going to be taken there. But I would imagine you just try to finish this thing. I mean, we've seen what can happen in just 1 lap here. We got the caution really coming to that next lap as the big crash happened coming out of 4.
I would say
I
big
don't know,
shout out.
lap.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say a lap happens real quick here, so.
Yes, without a doubt. My shout-out was going to be to Jeremy Flanagan and then number 72. He has stuck it out this entire time, and he came back in, I think, 30 laps into the race maybe, and he's only lost 1 lap since that entire time. And we had a really long green flag run at one point, so unfortunately didn't have the unfortunate situations to the rest of the drivers so that he could make up any spots. And as far back as he won't make up any more spots from here on out. But he's still out there toughing it out, going to complete the race anyways. And you love that as a league admin to have drivers that are still willing to, compete every lap, even without a shot. So I say shout out to Jeremy Flanagan for staying out there and getting some laps under his belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Good run for Jeremy Flanagan here, getting some laps in and finishing the race. That's definitely a good thing to get done here at Martinsville, but we've got 2 laps to go here. We've got ourselves the first attempt at a green-white checker. Justin Horton leads Kyle Purcell, Christian Delgado, and Sean Purcell. Green flag is in the air, and a huge run there for Justin Horton. Down to the inside, side by side, Delgado and Purcell for second. Delgado looks to be able to make that pass, but Purcell stays up top.
Here comes Lorfano there. He's going to get a big run. He's got a little bit fresher tires than some of these guys as well. Remember, he was involved in that big incident, so he's trying to make up some time with it. He's the highest.
Flag is out.
Yes.
Next flag ends it, and a spin. Purcell gets around going into turn number 1.
Oh, Sean Purcell, good recovery. Yep, still green here. A couple guys.
Big crash coming out of turn number 2. Justin Horton's going to be able to take this one away. Take the checkered flag here. Second place will be Kyle Purcell, then Christian Delgado. But a huge crash takes place coming off of turn number 2.
Lorfano. What happened?
Lorfano is around.
He was up here in the second position.
There was a lot that we're going to have to unpack on that last lap, and I believe it all started with that 0-4 getting turned around, entering turn number 1.
Yeah.
So let's take a look, see here, and the 8 may have been involved in his own incident there, but 0-4 gets a bump as Terrio tries to cross the record.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's a little unreasonable in my opinion. This 04 is on the lead lap, and last lap, and the 6 is not on the lead lap. I don't know. That's necessary.
See, there's what happened to Lorfano getting down into 3.
Let's see what all happens. Oh, he just did he lock it up? Was he trying to avoid getting into the 10?
It looked like he locked it up.
Yeah, I think it's all of that right there. Unfortunate. What should have been probably a 3rd or 4th place finish is going to result in a 7th place finish. David Harrow's going to come back to finish in 4th. Yeah, a lot happened there right at the end.
The last lap was absolutely insane, but Justin Horton comes away with the victory. He's going to burn it down here on the front straightaway, get a little bit of front-end damage, and let's try to see if we can bring Justin Horton up in here while he's burning it down. See if we get the right. Yeah, I think I got the right one.
I'm glad I could at least get a win for the team.
Justin, this is Angel and Liam. Sorry to interrupt you there from your team.
Oh, it's all good.
But congratulations on a phenomenal race win, dude. I gotta ask, when you came into this thing, did you think you had any shot?
Beginning of the race, no, I didn't think I had a single chance, no shot. Late race, thought I had no shot. The wrecks happened. I got lucky. I got past Hera when he went outside lane and just happened to I think he just unluckily overdrove it through the turn. I was able with the restarts. I waited till it was pointed straight and I took off. I Hail Married it on the restarts perfectly straight. Get that massive takeoff right in the Geico restart zone. It worked out. This was a race I thought I had zero chance of winning.
Yeah, you did a great job there, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. You got the job done. And kind of walk us through those last couple of restarts. You seemed to get the power down pretty well, but did you have any concern that those guys behind you might be able to get to you?
Oh, yeah, I had tons of concerns. I respect all the drivers in here. They all race, like, no matter how far back they are, they make the moves to come out and try to get you. They don't let off. They don't try to sit back and baby it. If they're behind the leader, they're going for it. And that's in the back of my mind. But when it came to the end, I just made sure to focus as hard as I could.
I will say, Justin, I mean, just looking up your stats real quick, of course, your first victory here in the AARL Truckers Feed America Cup Series, your 20th start here in the league. You only had one lap led before tonight, and I think you get one a little bit sweeter than that. So congratulations, Justin. I'm sure you got some people you'd like to thank, and we'll let you go celebrate it.
Oh, yeah, I have to thank Foxfire Foods and Luna's Steak Sauce for sponsoring the car and sponsoring me through the season, getting me to all the races, supporting the team. I got to thank Jeremy Flanagan for letting me be on the team. I got to thank Lilith Peters, Jackson Cars, Jason Middleton. Got to thank my brother and his company, Detailing by Brandon. I got to thank everyone for racing me clean. Kyle, Christian, everyone around me drove clean. No one gave me the old bump and run. No one tried to dive into the turn and take me out just to get the shot at the win. It was fun. It was everything I could have hoped for when it came to the end, being the position I was. I was hoping my other playoff contender teammate could have gotten the win. But at a minimum, at least I got one for the team. Got to thank everyone in the Bean team. I am beyond ecstatic of this finish. It didn't go the way I was hoping for my teammates, but I'm glad I could have gotten the team win and made the sponsors proud.
Well, absolutely.
Awesome stuff, man.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to know which chat to drop you back into.
Kaiju Cat. Thank you guys for the broadcast. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope I made the finish
Did you ever?
exciting.
Did you ever? Thank you, boss.
All right, that was your race winner, Justin Horton. We're going to move over to second place, Kyle Purcell now, as he's quite the up and down day here for Purcell. Kyle, this is Angel and Liam in the SRM broadcast booth. You got us, buddy?
I do.
Man, what a nice recovery. You kind of felt like you were up and down all day. Had a really rough start to the race. Liam mentioned it on the broadcast. You pit 12 times today. Twice that of the person in front of you that won the race. No, actually, I'm sorry. I lied to you. Twice as much as Christian Delgado behind you. Justin Horton only pit twice today. So, wow, but you're going to come home nonetheless in the second position. Hard-fought podium for you. Kind of give us a little bit of the rundown, really, of how the end of the race played out, and is this something you could have expected?
I didn't expect it at all. I mean, that first wreck, I just was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I think someone came off the wall and hit me and start it off. And I haven't gone back and looked at it yet, but I had 3 minutes of damage and broken steering. I repaired all 3 minutes over the course of like 6 cautions, so it was about 30 seconds of caution. Finally took tires after all of that, and then my steering was still broken, so when I get on the throttle out of the corner, it was trying to turn a lot more than it should have been. So I was going to fast repair if I had any more damage, but I was just trying to keep it clean at that point, and keeping it clean slowly made my way to the front just from people wrecking around me. So
Well,
that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think Liam said it, and Liam, that's just confirmation as to what you said earlier, that he's probably just trying to get as much of that damage repaired without using that fast repair. So I think that's perfectly on point. Liam, you got a question here for Kyle before we let him tell us who he's thinking for tonight's race.
Just kind of walk us through those last couple of restarts, because obviously some stuff happened up at the front that changed the complexity of this race. So kind of walk us through how that changed your mindset throughout the race and how you attacked those last couple of restarts there.
It was all about just trying to get to the bottom and stay on the bottom. I know Hare and I got together a little bit. I was worried that I might get blamed for it, but he came down when I was already under braking. So at that point, it was, slowing down as much as it'll let me slow down, and we made contact. But he got the AARL for that, so I was able to keep my spot, which I agree with. Obviously, I'm biased, but, so just trying to keep it clean, not get any more damage, not knock anyone around, make any enemies. I mean, I'm not in the playoffs, so I don't want to, have playoff implications by turning someone trying to get that extra spot, especially at a place like Martinsville. So, yeah, it was all about just getting to the bottom, holding the bottom. Usually that's the strongest line, so salvage the best finish I could out of it.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and let us know who you'd like to thank for tonight's race, and we'll let you enjoy your podium.
Just a big shout out to Travis Rodriguez, Adam Angerstein, just being my teammates tonight, keeping my head in the game, keeping each other's heads in the game. Josh, with the team assault. He wasn't here tonight, but, he's the one that puts me in the car. And ARP on the hood, my World of Warships clan, they support me from afar and watching and let me do this and miss clan battles and other events for the clan to race. So big shout out to them for all the support.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Congratulations again, and we'll see you next week at Talladega.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, that was your second place finisher, Kyle Purcell. We're going to go ahead and round out with the guy who's probably had the longest race of the evening, and your third place finisher, the number 16 Ford Mustang of Christian Delgado. Christian, it's Angel and Liam. I guess you got us here. Liam, go ahead and take this one away. I'm sure you got a couple questions for Christian regarding his evening tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, third place doesn't begin to tell the story of your night. You had a rough start. You seemed like Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day right there at the start. Kind of walk us through the way that your race started and, what kept you motivated to keep pushing? Because obviously the results showed.
Yeah, the restart was, that start was not in the playbook for sure. What happened is that, you have to shift every corner in these things, and I got an old wheel, a Logitech Driving Force GT. It's like 15 years old, and the shifter on it malfunctioned. So going into turn one, I went to downshift in the third, and it did not downshift in the third, and the car didn't turn. So luckily, I kept it in the wall, and no one really was affected that much when it came to damage-wise, but yeah, I stuck with it. I knew I had the car to get up there and at least battle for a podium. And yeah, we just kept going through. I knew, from last season that the cautions were probably going to be, more common than most races, just because, this track is really hard to race at competitively with everything without a car to get loose out of the corners and everything. But yeah, I was up there at the end. I had a little bit of damage on the left front. I don't know if the broadcast caught it, but I actually had no left front tire for that green white checkered at the end. So I really didn't have anything for Justin, and luckily squeaked out a top three.
Absolutely phenomenal run by you. And I know you mentioned that green-white checker there. We did not notice that you didn't have a front tire there. So props to you for being able to get the job done with that. But I'd also like to ask, how did your race change when that big wreck happened up front, taking out some of the leaders?
I was actually, one of the people involved when I saw some clips already of the Cage Cat guys came over here to congratulate me and showed me what happened. She had you used to downshifting in the one, and she on the restart you're starting in second, you go to third, and she instinctively just went back and down in the second, and it just spun the car out. So yeah, unfortunately, when Jackson came back down the track, me and him kind of got together and went nose to nose or tip to tip, whatever you want to call it. And luckily, it was only like a minute or so repair, so I got most of it done. And was there at the end to take advantage of other people's misfortunes.
Well,
Man, you had yourself a phenomenal race. Angel, you got anything for him before we let him thank his people?
No, I'm gonna let you thank your people. Christian, I think Liam kind of said it better. He just did a great job showing how you can just keep on racing and just not give up and really make up a good day in what could have been a very bad day if you really decided to. So congratulations. It was fantastic to watch and to get it talked about on broadcast. And yeah, we'll let you go ahead and thank your people and send you away until we see you next week at Dega.
Yeah, huge shout out to Chad Snyder, team owner of Dominion Motorsports, putting me in the Cup car this year, giving me a break. Didn't really have a ride for the Cup Series, so gave me a chance to drive for him. Big shout out to my teammates, Johnny May and Peter, who were racing with me or either in the VC trying to coach us through everything. And then big shout out to my sponsors, Track Racer, Butt Kicker, and the folks over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. They love to see these good finishes, especially going from the back to the front. Shout out to the Bean team. Justin is also in the Bean team, so we got 2 of the top 3 in the Bean team for a good finish. So, and then thanks again to you guys for broadcasting. Couldn't do this without you guys.
We definitely appreciate you, Christian. Congratulations once again on an eventful podium finish. We'll let you get back to your team to celebrate.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Now that was Christian Delgado. We got our podium finishers up in here, and quite a few stories coming out of this race. I mean, we had phenomenal side-by-side action. We had a lot of cautions early on. We had some green flag racing, some pit stops happening under green, and then strategy getting flipped upside down. A big crash at the front to change the way that this race plays out for the front runners. And well, I don't know. I don't think I can list anything better for an auto race in 200 laps.
I think you hit it on the point there. We'll go ahead and go over our race results for those who are watching, getting to see where maybe their favorite driver got to finish in tonight's very hectic race. And it was a very good race for Martinsville. I know we had some cautions, but man, that long green flag run really made this thing enjoyable. And as mentioned, Justin Horton being the beneficiary of all the chaos at the end to take home his first victory here in the AARL Cup Series, followed by Kyle Purcell, Christian Delgado, we just finished speaking to as well, David Hara, the highest of your championship drivers. This will be a big moment for him to gain some spots. Cameron Harris still tight on his tail in 6th, and then David Lorfano tight on his tail in 7th. Sean Purcell in 8th, Adam Angerstein in 9th, and then Travis Rodriguez, the 4th of your 6 playoff drivers there in running out your top 10.
After that, we've got Peter Terrio, strong run today, couldn't quite get the results. Same story for Jackson Carr. And we've got Scott Leonard, Lilith Peters, who we saw involved in that big crash towards the end of the race. Tough break for her. Nathan Christensen, Tyrone Yo, and then Jeremy Flanagan's going to round out our field. We see Johnny May up in there, but did not take a lap. Was possibly race control. Or no, Corey is race control. Johnny May didn't take a lap today. So that's going to round out our field.
Yeah, what a great finish. What a great race this was. Liam, I do thank you for coming in the booth with me tonight. It's always a pleasure to get the broadcast with you. Thank all the fans, everybody who comes out to watch. As always, if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do to get this algorithm working here for us on YouTube. All these drivers, they have sponsors, they pay money, and the more people watching, the better it is for the drivers themselves. So keep supporting them, not just by yourself watching, but encouraging your friends and family to watch as well. Join us. We've got racing going on just about every night of the week. And you'll hear one of the many great voices here on the Sim Racing Media Network. Tonight, as mentioned, myself, Angel Santiago, and Liam, I'll let you sign us off. We'll be good to go.
Yeah, I don't really have a fancy sign off, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Angel said, it definitely helps us out when you hit that like button, you subscribe, hit the bell, and whatever, and just kind of keep yourself posted on when we're live. We do shows every night of the week, and we had ourselves a phenomenal show here at Martinsville. All sorts of action and pretty much everything you could ask for out of an auto race came here tonight. So that'll about do it here. Angel, once again, I'm Liam, and thanks once again for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.